Hello friends, this is our video number 12 and in this video we shall continue the chapter number 5 and we shall learn here the causes of the British success in India. So as we have seen that after the death of Aurangzeb in the year 1707, the Mughal Empire started weakening. Okay, and the regional kingdom would become independent, and also this will create a political instability and also a lot of lack of unity was there, and the British military were superior and they were using advanced technology. They had better weapons, the war strategies and a very well trained army. They used very advanced technique like subsidiary alliance and divide and rule policy to weaken the Indian ruler. That was sufficient to weaken the Indian ruler because they support one ruler and fight against the other. So this is how they use their divide and rule policies. Subsidiary alliances they have brought up under Wellesley, wherein their military expenses would be taken care of by the local ruler, Indian ruler, and in return they will protect their kingdom against the enemy. Okay. There will be conflicts between the Indian ruler like Maratha, Nawab and Sikh. They will fight among themselves and the advantage will be taken up by the Britishers. And one very important thing is that they had a very strong naval power. So British had a very strong navy which held them to control over the trade routes and gain access to the coastal territories as compared to the Indian ruler. Okay, we lacked that strong naval power that the British had during those days. Then East India Company, initially they came to trade but gained a huge wealth by monopolizing the Indian resources and taxation, and the British were so much skilled in forming alliances and signing treaties to gain the territorial and political advantages. Okay. Their diplomatic behavior would help them to expand their territory. So let's start the class today. The entire process of expansion and consolidation of the British power in India took almost a century. So the expansion and consolidation of the British power in India was a gradual process and unfolded over nearly a century, from mid of 18th century to mid of 19th century. Consolidation means taking firm control over a region. So it took over a century for the British power to combine the military victories, strategic alliances, annexation policies, and the administrative reform, and to consolidate and expand their power in India. So there was a sequence of war like Battle of Plassey 1757, then Battle of Buxar in 1764, then they got the Diwani rights, that is the revenue collection right in the Treaty of Allahabad. Then they would expand through the war and diplomacy like Anglo-Mysore War, Anglo-Maratha War will be conducted. Then there will be subsidiary alliance system under the Lord Wellesley, and then the doctrine of lax policy would be introduced by Dalhousie, and this is how the British took over a century to annex the Indian regional power and expand and consolidate their own rule, that is the British rule. In these 100 years, the British used many diplomatic and military strategies to emerge as a ruler of India. The factors of success of the British are as follows. Superior arms and military strategies. The firearms used by the British, including muskets and the cannons, were superior to the Indian weapons in both firing speed and range. So understand the thing that the musket is a old gun which was used by the soldier to fire one shot at a time. whereas cannon are the big gun, used the fire heavy, powerful shot during the war. Okay. Now the British musket, the gun, long gun, could hit the army from far away. And the cannon, British cannon were very much powerful and it could destroy the enemy position from the long distance. Whereas Indian weapon could not reach that far. Okay. So they had better technology, advanced technology. The British gun were made with the latest technology, which made them more stronger and reliable even with a little number of army, little number of soldiers. Whereas on the other hand side, Indian weapons were often older, less effective. Indian weapons are swords, old gun, which took very long time. Okay, the range was longer as compared to the Britishers' gun. And also if we see that Britishers had a very well-trained soldier. They were very well-trained and they could use the weapon in a very organized way. Whereas on the other hand side, Indian armies often did not have that modern training and the strategies. Okay, that advanced training and the strategies. So these better weapons helped the British to win the important battles like Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar. So the modernization and the industrialization had occurred earlier in the British. That is why they had better and the faster weapon and giving them a very big advantage over the Indian rulers. This helped them to expand and control over the India. Okay. So many Indian rulers imported European weapons and trained their soldiers, but unfortunately Indian military officers could never match English officers and remained mere imitators. So they tried to imitate the English army by introducing and modernizing their weapon, like we have read about the Tipu Sultan, how he had used the scientific technologies with the help of the French and tried to modernize the military and tries to train trained his soldier, but he could not match the Britishers. Okay, this was the thing. Next is the better military discipline and regular salary. So better military discipline and regular salary. British imposed regular salary payment and a strict system of discipline so that the officers and the soldiers remained loyal. So because they are getting salary on time, their needs were met on time, and so they were much satisfied and loyal. British soldiers were loyal. On the other hand, Indian rulers did not have enough money to pay salaries regularly because the economic conditions were getting worse and worse. So the British ensured that their officers and soldiers were well paid and were getting regular salaries on time, and also they follow a strict discipline system ensuring that all the soldiers should focus only on their duties and remain loyal to the army. On the other hand, the Indian ruler did not have that enough money to pay to their soldier regularly. So they used to hire, sometimes they will be hiring the personal guard soldier on private basis. Okay. And this is why the Indian ruler's army will be less reliable due to the irregular payment and also the lack of discipline. Both are the things. Okay. Furthermore, Indian rulers depends on the hordes of the personal retainer or mercenary element who were not amenable to discipline. So that means mercenary means hiring the soldier. Okay. That means soldiers were hired for the money who often lacked loyalty, which is much obvious, and discipline. They lack loyalty, they would lack discipline because they worked for anyone who should pay them. They are being hired. and they will work only when they will be paid properly. This was the key difference, that why the British army were so well organized and disciplined and loyal. They are getting a regular payment, and why the Indian rulers' army were less reliable due to the irregular payment and lack of the discipline. Next topic is civil discipline and fair selection system. Company officers and soldiers were selected on the basis of their reliability and skill, and not on the basis of the hereditary and caste system, caste and relations. So in British East India Company, officers and soldiers were selected on the basis of their potential and skills, not on the hereditary basis. Now, in contrast, Indian administrators and the military officers were appointed on the basis of the caste, personal relationships, and as a result, their competence was questionable. They often become rebellious and treacherous in pursuing their interest. So understand the thing that British would select their soldier and officer on the basis of their skills, loyalty, and not on the caste basis or the family background or the royalty background. This made their army very much disciplined and reliable. On the other hand, the Indian ruler would choose their military officer on the basis of the caste, their family ties, and not on the abilities. Okay, so many of these officers were very much unskilled, disloyal. They would make allies with the ruler also at times, and often they rebelled for their personal gain. Okay, this would weaken the Indian armies, while the British became stronger and more consolidated. For example, if someone was good at fighting or disciplined, they could join the British army, no matter whatever be their background. On the other hand, in Indian ruling system, the son of a general might get or chieftains might get the job even if he was not skilled. And some soldiers join their enemy or may fight against their own king for the money or power. If they are getting more money from their rivalry ruler, they will join their army and will fight against their own king. So this is how the Indian armies were weak and disorganized, and the British became more strong, disciplined, and that helped them to win wars easily. Okay. Now the next topic is the brilliant leadership and support of the second line leaders. Okay. So now see, the British leaders like Clive and Warren Hastings were very much skilled, and they worked together to expand the British power. Like how we have seen Robert Clive smartly, he would won the Battle of Plassey and he will help the Britain to gain control over the Bengal and its Diwani right. Also, they had some strong second line leaders like Lord Lake and Arthur Wellesley, okay, Ayr Coote, who would support the main leader and fought for the Britain with devotion. For example, Arthur Wellesley defeated Indian ruler in the Battle of Asai. And this Battle of Asai was important because Maratha was defeated under the leadership of Arthur Wellesley of British Empire, and this is how Wellesley held the British to increase its control and defeat Maratha, who were very powerful during those days. Okay, this Battle of Asai was fought against the Maratha Empire in the year 1803 under the leadership of the Arthur Wellesley. The Marathas were led by Scindia and Holkar, the two powerful rulers of India at that time. Arthur Wellesley's British forces was in very less number, but they would be able to defeat much larger Maratha army and won the battle. This would help the British to control or to establish their rule. in India. And this victory was very much important because it defeated the Maratha forces in that region and thus strengthening the British power. So the Battle of Asai is considered as Wellesley's greatest achievement. So they have very strong leaders. They are also called as the second line leaders because they were not in the front. They were just the army head or the leader of the British army. It can be considered like this. So we have Clive, Warren Hastings, Elphinstone, Munro, Dalhousie, etc. They displayed rare qualities of their leadership. The British also had a long list of second line leaders. Okay, means those leaders who worked under the head, and they are Irecourt, Lord Lake, Arthur Wellesley, who fought for the interests of and the glory of their country. The Indian side also had a very talented leaders like Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan, Chin Khalid Khan, Madhavrao Scindia and Yashwantrao Holkar, but there were no sense of unity among them, and they often supported the British against neighboring rulers. There was a lack of consciousness of India. Now see, these second line leaders helped the British to expand. How? That we have seen in the case of Sir Arthur Wellesley. Also that Irecourt helped the British by defeating the French in the Battle of Wandy Wash, securing the British power in India over all the other European power. British sun shined, and after the defeat of the French in the Battle of Wandy Wash, under the leadership of Irecourt, British has secured the power in India. Okay. Also the Lord Lake, we have seen here Lord Lake. There is one name, Lord Lake. He won important battle like Second Maratha War. Okay, expanding the British control over the northern and the central India. So this is how the brilliant leadership and support of the second line leader made the Britain more consolidated and powerful in India. Now the next topic. The next topic is strong financial backup. Now understand the thing that any war which is conducted required lot of funds, and this British East India Company was earning good money to pay good profits to its investors and was able to fund wars in India. Okay. And this England was also making a lot of money from the trade with other countries, which added to their wealth. And the whole British were united and they were proud of their strong economy and power. On the other hand side, Indian rulers were weak. They are divided into groups and did not have the sense of united nationalism. They lacked the word nationalism. Okay. This made it easy for the Britishers to control over India, as the Indian lacked the unity to fight back together. And also, for example, that the company used the money that they have earned by selling tea, cotton, that helped them to keep fighting wars because they have lot of funds through the profit they are making through the trades. And England was also making lot of money by trading with the other countries, which would make them wealthy. And England sold goods like textile and spices to many countries. So they will be very much proud for the strong economy, and they believe in leading their business, technologies and the military power. On the other hand side, we can see that Indians were divided. Okay. For example, the Marathas and the Mughal, they did not unite together to fight back with the British. Okay, they were divided. and British took lot of advantage out of it. Now let's see what's written over here. The company's income was sufficient to pay good dividends to its shareholder as well as finance the English wars in India. So the company was making good profit, and so they are able to finance or fund the war that was going in India, and furthermore England was earning handsome profit from its trade with the rest of the world. Also, the England was proud of their strong economy, and because they were trading textile, spices to many other countries. Okay, so nationalist pride. British believed in material progress and were proud of their national pride and were economically prosperous, while the Indians were weak and divided among themselves, devoid a sense of united political nationalism. So we can see that how the British were proud of their strong economy and they believe in making progress, material progress, in making progress in business, in trade, in technology advancement, in strengthening the military power. The sense of unification was there. But on the other side, the Indian rulers were not united, and lack of nationalism was there. So this was the thing, that Indian rulers were weak and divided into different groups, and they did not have the sense of united nationalism. They are not together. This was the thing. So this is all in this video, and in the next video we shall learn about the Bengal on the eve of the British conquest. Till then, goodbye.